It's 2025 and it's time to fill up my antique booths with new wall decor. On today's video, I am going to be taking thrifted items and turning them into high-end, gorgeous wall decor for a profit. I'm showing you some scenes from family land that's been in my family for many years. This land was originally owned by my great-grandparents and then on to my grandparents, and now it is owned by my mother and her two brothers. I hope that you will enjoy these next few projects, and I really appreciate you taking your time to spend with me. I had a lot of fun making over these projects, and I think you will like them too. I want you to go ahead and take a look at the barn right there. That's what inspired this next piece of art that I'm calling the barn. That's what we call the barn that's on the land. That's what we still call it. So that's what I'm calling this piece. So I found this canvas for $2 at a thrift store. You can find canvases all the time, I'm sure, at your local thrift store as well. It's much more economical and it saves these kind of pieces from the landfill because probably no one is going to want to purchase that piece of art as is, and it's likely just to get thrown into the trash. Now, I could be wrong, but that's just my personal opinion. So I put some primer over that painting of the little dog, and then I took out this Whimsykel paper, and it's called Heartland. It reminded me so much of the barn that we have in our family, and I just thought that it would be a perfect paper to use for this video. I actually made these over before Christmas, but we were right in the thick of all the Christmas crafts, so I decided to hold off on posting this particular one. So after you take out your paper, you're going to want to mist it lightly with your fine misting bottle, and then you're just going to do a 3-inch starter strip, and then you're just going to lay down your paper on top of that decoupage medium. And then you're just going to want to rub gently with your hands until you can get those wrinkles out. You will then just continue repeating the process until you have the paper on your canvas completely. Now I'm just taking my scissors and I'm going to cut off that excess paper, and I'm going to save it for another project later on in this video. Because there is excess paper on this canvas, or the paper is hanging over the edges, I was able to wrap the image around the canvas on part of the canvas. At the top there wasn't quite enough paper, so I had to go back with some paint and just blend some paint into the canvas. Now you can do this two ways. You can either wrap your canvas with your decoupage paper, or you could just sand it off on the edges and then paint the edges or whatever color you choose that would coordinate with the color of your image. It's a little bit more difficult to wrap it around the canvas, but it's really not hard at all. It's basically like wrapping a present, except for you're just going to use the decoupage gel, and because the paper is so thin, it's pretty easy to do that. And then just like the top of the canvas, you'll have to go back with decoupage gel and seal up the edges and the top. I typically like to paint my decoupage gel on where it mimics a painting. I think it makes the surface texture look better compared to just long brush strokes. I hope that you have enjoyed this project so far and that you can see how you can take a $2 canvas from a thrift store and turn it into a really nice high-end piece of art. Now you could keep this for yourself, or in my case, I'm going to put it into my vintage booth. And now for the final reveal. If you like how this project turned out, please give me a thumbs up. It really means a lot, and I love to see your comments. If you're interested in any of the products that I have featured in this video, I'll put a link down in the description. The next project is this wooden peg shelf. I didn't mind it how it was. In fact, I liked it okay. However, it didn't sell in my booth, so I thought that I would give it a fresh makeover. So I took out my blue pine from Rethunk Junk and I gave it a good coat of paint. This paint covers very well and it leaves a beautiful professional finish. And I just love this color. What do y'all think about this color? I think it's a great wintertime color, but it also looks good year-round. I always pick up these wooden peg shelves when I see them, and then I just give them a quick paint job. They're good to keep for yourself in your own home. In fact, I have several of them, but they also are good sellers in my booth. I like to give them a fresh makeover when needed, and then I just put them in my booth, and then I'm able to also display items on the shelf as well, and then hang things from the little hooks. So what do y'all think so far? Do you think I should have painted this, or you think I should have just kept it as is and waited to see if it would sell? I really appreciate you spending your time here with me today, and I hope you are liking these projects. If you would like to see more projects like these, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future projects. I have a whole lineup of projects coming up this year, and I hope you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. So what do y'all think of this final project? Isn't that finish just gorgeous? I'm calling this next project landscape art. And what I'm doing is I'm taking these thrifted frames that I purchased for just $3 at a thrift store, and I'm going to be making them over and using that leftover paper from that previous Whimsykel paper we used in the first project. So these are really cool, very chunky frames. However, I think the color is just a little dated and they were a little bit just scratched here and there. So the first thing I did is I gave them a good clean. After I gave them a good clean, I took the strip of paper that was left over, and then I took a piece of cardboard that I cut out from a box or something that I gotten in the mail, and I cut that in the same size of the glass, and then I gave it a quick coat of the primer. I'm using primer from Rethunk Junk. It's called Power Primer, and I have that on my website as well. So you just want to give it a coat of primer and let it dry, and what it will do is it will make the image pop more. The cool thing about these next two images that I'm using from that paper is they're not going to look farm fresh at all. They're just going to look like really cool landscape photos, which landscape art is really popular right now. I don't know why I said photos. It's not photos, just landscape art. So if you are not a farm type person, but you like the idea of making your own art and selling your art, or just for your own, home, I sell over 100 designs from Whimsykel Papers. They include floral designs, abstract designs, vintage designs, really cool eclectic animals, all kinds of things. So if a barn scene is not your thing, you can still see or purchase all different kind of images on my website to make your own art that will, match up with your own personal taste. I then decided to paint this frame. I believe it's cast iron, although I can't remember the exact color that I used because this was a while ago, but cast iron would work, ash would work. There's a lot of these dark colors. Oakum would be a good color for these frames. I also think that a metallic bronze or metallic gold would be very pretty with this too. You could also take some rub and buff and go over the details. However, I didn't do that on this frame. I just thought that this color was nice, and that's all I did. So I will put this in my booth for $49.99. I typically sell prints for that amount with frames like this in my booth, and they sell pretty regularly and pretty often. So I think that's a good fair price. Now on that first picture, the first piece of artwork, the barn, I will probably put that around somewhere between $59.99 and $69.99. I haven't decided yet. Hey, if you're still here with me watching this video, would you please leave me a heart in the comments just so I know that you've made it this far and you've stuck around? I'd really appreciate that. Okay, so I'm now taking that leftover strip of Whimsykel paper and I'm taking the primed pieces and I'm just going to measure out 2 different images. After I measure them out, I'm just going to cut them and then I'm going to decoupage them on these cardboard pieces. Y'all let me know which one of these projects is your favorite. I like all of them. I think they all turned out really well. And what do you think about using this leftover paper and making 2 more projects? I think it's a great idea. I don't like to be wasteful. And I will actually sell this one for the $49.99. And then I'm going to put the other one in a frame for $49.99, and then plus the first one for probably, I don't know, I'll probably start out with the $69.99 just to begin with. So you can see how you can make a large amount of profit with thrifted frames and a thrifted canvas and this one Whimsykel paper. And if you're not selling them, you would have 3 pieces of artwork for the price of 1 Whimsykel paper. I completely forgot to mist this paper first, and you can see how more wrinkles appeared in this because I didn't mist it. However, I don't mind when there's wrinkles in decoupage paper. I think it just makes it look more aged and just gives it a lot of character. One of you guys told me that you just go with it. I love that, and that's what I do too. I don't fret over a few wrinkles, so I just go for it. But I have heard a lot of good alternative ways to decoupage than this that supposedly get or make your piece come out with 0 wrinkles. So initially I was going to put this piece of art into that second frame. So I took out some paint called Fresh Sage. It's a kind of springy sagey green color from Rethunk Junk, and I painted the frame. But after I painted it, I didn't really think that this piece of art looked great, and I thought that I needed to repaint that frame in like a bronze or gold color. But when the time came, I just really didn't want to repaint it, and I had some other prints, so I tried them out. Right now, I'm just using my finger to try to get out a few more of those wrinkles. So here is that final project. I think it turned out really nice. It doesn't give off to me a farm fresh vibe at all. It's just a really cool, really neutral landscape piece of art. What do you think about this project? Let me know which one is your favorite. Next up, you'll see the print that I put in that frame that I painted the Fresh Sage. And if y'all haven't checked out my latest video where I used a gorgeous horse Whimsykel paper and I made over a table and a cowhide tray and some other really cool Western themed projects, I'm going to put that right there in the comments. So just go to the comments, click on it, and watch that next video.